Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Amig, your friendly rheumatologist. Today is a very exciting live. You are going to learn how to pick the right insurance plan for you. I am putting this go live on Instagram, and we are going to go right away. So every day in my practice, I hear patients who are asking, like, how do I choose? How do I choose? How do I choose? And I have to say that the first time I had to choose my own plan, I had no idea. Okay, I come from France. We have only one plan, and so I was like, what am I supposed to know? What's high deductible? What's max out of pocket? What's all this? Okay, so I'm gonna basically explain to you how, as a rheumatologist and as a patient, I choose. Okay, and I recommend to choose. The first thing is that this video doesn't really work for anyone that has Medicaid, because you have Medicaid. If you have Medicare, it might still be interesting, but I think you have Medicare. Just it's more like what to plan. When you have Medicare, a lot of the things can be covered by Medicare itself. And then you can have other medications, like if you want to have a plan that covers the medication, that is actually an important aspect. But really, who this is for are the people who are really not on Medicare and Medicaid and have to choose an insurance. Either they have to choose an insurance plan through their employer, or they are business owners and they have to choose their own insurance plan, or you are your own and you're like trying to figure out what to do for you. All right. The most important thing when we do this is the most important thing is to realize where you're coming from. If you are super healthy, I've never had any medical issues, so you're a very low utilizer, right? If you are just stumbling upon this video, because most of the people who are looking at this video have some rheumatologic issues, right? Some joint pain or some autoimmune problem. But if you're stumbling into this video and you have no medical issues, and you're not planning to become pregnant, or you're not planning to get surgeries or whatnot, right? If you're planning to basically be super healthy. What I would say is, if you're after 35 years old, you probably want to still listen as I'm going to share after, because if you're more than 35 is when we start having some issues. You can have like an ER visit, and that's kind of when it doesn't, like, your body doesn't heal as fast. Okay, so that's number one. So stay with us. If you're someone who really truly doesn't have any issues and don't plan to be pregnant, don't plan any surgery, nothing, I would actually tell you to look at either emergency plan or shared health plan. Shared health plan are not insurance, but they kind of like work like it. And the way it works is that people bring, like, everyone puts money, and you basically tell upfront the maximum you're willing to pay if something were to happen. Okay, so that's kind of like the maximum out of pocket. And so it's a nice thing that I would recommend you start looking. Shared health plan. Okay, so look at it if you don't have any chronic disease, if you don't plan anything. Okay, now for those who have a chronic issue, or who have who know that they are either they go to the ER or urgent care or whatnot, right? My recommendation is then to compare plans this way. We are going to assume you're going to reach your maximum out of pocket. Why do we want to assume this? Because let's say you don't reach the maximum out of pocket. That's great. But it's better to budget it as if you were to reach the maximum out of pocket. When the maximum out of pocket is very different than the deductible, right? Like the high deductible, it's basically to say the insurance will not pay anything until you reach this amount. I personally don't look at this as a rheumatologist or as a patient. I do not look at this. Why? Because I assume I'm going to reach my max out of pocket. Why do I reach my max out of pocket? I reach my max out of pocket because I use a drug that is very expensive. Okay. And so if you're thinking of, if I'm thinking of my patients who have biologics, they are going to reach their max out of pocket thanks to those biologics. But fear not. And this is where it's so exciting, is that the vast majority of drug companies will help you feel that max out of pocket. So let's say it's the first of the year, and let's say you're on Humira. I'm giving this example. It can be any biologic, right? And you are on Humira. What is going to happen is that I would recommend buy the Humira. That's the first medical expense you're using as January. And the thing that you want to do is you're reaching out to the drug company, in this case, AbbVie. You're reaching out to them and you say, hey, can I get a copay, my copay program? What is really awesome in almost every single of those drug companies that have like very expensive medication, and this is also for biosimilar, all of those drug companies actually help to reach the max out of pocket. And what's really cool is, let's say your max out of pocket is $7,000. Well, they're going to help you reach the max out of pocket to $7,000. So they might actually give you $6,900. And then your max out of pocket is actually just $100. I'm making those numbers, like, right? You have to talk with them. But in general, this is what it is, right? And depending on the state you're at, you have to make sure that the max out of pocket can be covered by those copay programs. In Colorado, it is absolutely covered. So a patient that has a max out of pocket, let's say even 50, let's say 10,000, and that you have a drug company that's willing to pay the 9,900, right? Because I think that you still have to have like 100 that you're paying yourself. You have reached the max out of pocket almost the first of the year, thanks to the money of the drug company. So you're going to ask me, why would a drug company do that? Well, they're very smart. The drug company knows that if they help you reach that max out of pocket, then it's the insurance that's going to pay them. So they are fine. They are fine with that. They're like, this is an investment for us to get a patient that potentially be on those drugs for a very long time. Okay. So the way I used to look at insurance is that I would put their premium. So let's say a premium is $450. So you create an Excel sheet in which you put each of the different plans that are available to you. And you can call them if you're a contractor, if you're someone that needs their own health insurance. Again, you can call everyone, right? And so what I would recommend is you put, lines where you're going to put in the first line, you're going to put the different plan. Second line, you're going to put the premium. Third line, you're going to put the max out of pocket, okay? Because that's really what we want to compare. And then you're going to do equal under that thing. You're saying, okay, let's say the first is $450 per month. And then the max out of pocket is 8,000. So then you're going to calculate this at the end, and then you're going to say total for the year is 12 multiplied by 450 plus 8,000, right? And you're going to compare each premium with the max out of pocket, all right? So you're putting that. The thing that's interesting is that if you are already on a medication that is a biologic or something that's pretty expensive, and you call them, you call the drug company and you ask them, hey, in my state, will you help me with the cost of the max out of pocket, right? You can call them. They're happy to respond to your questions. You can call them and they say, yes, absolutely. We will. You can even look online. They tell you like the maximum that they will give you. Rituxan, I think it's up to 20,000. Right? So there are like quite a bit of help. Then what I would recommend is that that they're going to pay for the max out of pocket. So then really the only thing you're paying is actually the premium. Okay. So then you can really choose and you say, okay, well, as a person that is on a biologic for this year, right? Like it doesn't mean you're going to be on it forever, but for this year, the coming year, as this person who's on a biologic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay this premium, it's less expensive per premium, and the max out of pocket may be more, but it's okay because the drug that I'm using is going to help me pay the max out of pocket. Wonderful. So that's really a good news, right? So then you're only paying $450 per month. Okay. But then you can choose, I'm going to pay, the 300 premium versus the 500 premium, right? What I find that there's a lot of people that do is that they think that they take the lowest deductible, the lowest premium, but they don't look at everything. You've got to compare what's comparable. If we consider that you're going to max out your max out of pocket, then that's what you want to calculate in addition to the premium. And then you can calculate. And you realize that a lot of them are totally equivalent. For what they give you in the premium that are less expensive, their max out of pocket is more. And some other ones, the max out of pocket is less, but then the premium are a lot more. But again, I would argue that unless you're less than 35, I've never had any medical issues. Honestly, I would argue that consider that you're going to hit your max out of pocket, because then you don't have a risk. And again, if you have a rheumatologic condition and your doctors are telling you, hey, we're going to give you a biologic, that's actually a good news for your finances, because that biologic is going to most likely help you cover the max out of pocket from the drug company, which is, again, a very good news. Okay. Now, if you're someone who's like trying to limit absolutely all amount of cost, what I would recommend is realize, so this is something I want to share because it's actually kind of an interesting thing. There are a lot of drug companies in the rheumatology world who will give you their medications for free if you do not have an insurance. And I don't understand why, but it actually is wonderful. They are basically saying, hey, we are helping you while you don't have insurance. That is not my recommendation. I recommend you have insurance because insurance is exactly what it is. It's an insurance. It's in case of something happening, you have someone that's helping. So you're paying for an in case you need, okay? And so that's the goal. And so in general, my recommendation is save the money thanks to the maximum out of pocket that's being hit by the medication, okay? And save that, and then use a direct care primary care physician, because that will save you a ton of money. Use for direct care like a rheumatologist like me, because that will also save you a ton of money in the long run. Save the money for any fake medication thanks to the max out of pocket, thanks to those medication that will help. There are a ton of other things that we can do to limit the cost. There are, good RX that limits the cost on medicine. There's Mark Cuban. All of this, they can help you limit the cost. Absolutely. But honestly, for me, the way I see it is get an insurance plan. And if you know you're going to be on a biologic, like just make sure that biologic has a copay program, because they will help you hit that maximum out of pocket. And in that case, just use an insurance like the one that has the least premium, so that you know that you don't have to pay much. And honestly, I would recommend get a direct primary care and get a specialist that's direct care as well, because honestly, that is the best care you're going to get. Like, I don't see anyone insurance based anymore. I've realized, like, I don't see doctors if I go, and my kids don't see doctors if they go anyway. I have to pay out of pocket anyway to reach. And so I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like, it's not worth it. So the insurance is for insurance, and they help you get that max out of pocket. Okay. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I see that there is quite a bit of us online. Hi, Pratik Sharma. Thank you. And wish you a wonderful year with a good health and lots of happiness in your work, and best wishes for new opportunity. I think that's wonderful, and I wish you absolutely the best. I wish everyone here the exact same. Health is the most important thing. Without health, you cannot do anything. So it's worth investing, but invest in a smart way. Okay, that's what's important. And I would argue that it's actually better to invest in your health if you budget it the way that I'm sharing right now, right? Then you can actually invest in the long term. Then you're like, okay, I'm investing in my rheumatologist. I'm investing in my direct primary care physician, right? And this will actually get you a lot more. Okay. Thank you. So, hi, Karim, Karim Sheikh. Hi, Predator. And Luca. Hi. And I'm sure I'm missing other ones. RMD, done early. Hi. And if you're watching this letter, if you have questions, don't hesitate. I think they come on the YouTube channel, or they can come on the Instagram account. So don't hesitate. I'm here to help you. This is my pleasure and honor, as always, to be here. I'm going to just plug in our webinar that's starting next Tuesday. We're going to do a webinar next Tuesday where I'm going to share the science of the autonomic nervous system and inflammation, and how you can decrease inflammation and get to full remission faster and better and more profoundly. And it would be my honor if you would come. It's absolutely free. I absolutely love sharing my knowledge when it comes to this, because it's very empowering for every single patient. And that's really my goal. It's to empower everyone out here so that you all live a totally normal and fully functional life. And when I tell you to, imagine that you're going to hit your max out of pocket, it's because I don't want you to worry about healthcare. You've already budgeted that. It's fine. You've budgeted that. So if anything happens, which we hope nothing happens, but if anything happens, you've budgeted it. And if nothing happens, that's great. You keep that money. And if you have a high deductible plan, which is usually what I'm talking about, you have an HSA, and every expenses is 30% less because it's pre-tax. So that's the other thing that's really cool with all of that. Okay. And your HSA, whatever money you're putting in the HSA, will stay with you years after if you don't use them. So that's actually also exciting. Okay. All right. It's been 17 minutes. I'm sorry, it's a little long. I will see you next week. It's a wonderful, well, actually next week, probably not, because I would like you guys to come on the webinar that is at 1 hour later than this. So come join us. I think you will love it. You can register. We'll put some information here and you can register. Okay. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful week. See you next week. Bye-bye.